I thought I will never be able to coach anybody or teach anybody, train anybody, because I don't like to talk much. I'm a person who observes and says little things of advice to people or my colleagues, and that is how I work. Even at workplace, to the team, I am mainly an observer to all their problems, and I listen out, and then I advise something, and then I try to work along with them and and resolve the problem, whether it is a problem or it is a deadline. That is how I used to do. So mostly I have been a silent worker, and thinking that my USP was to um, just silently support everybody. So that being said, there is another aspect also to 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 the training that I do. I have a bigger vision. I have seen people's potential go up when I recognize their little victories, and those little victories which have gone on to produce a major impact. So, in the last 10 plus years of my experience, I have seen them contributing a lot towards whatever visualization I had. They had contributed to my vision. They had accepted my vision as theirs. So it has become a collective vision, and I saw that it is actually a collective vision. It is not my vision or their vision. Everybody wants the same. Everybody wants to be happy, right? Joyful and joyfully abundant. Everybody wants to be, say, happy, and also their fellow men also to be happy, right? It is the same dream that each of us has. What stops people in between is the little bit of insecurity which brings on jealousy, competition, and that is how they stop. And neither they progress on their own vision, nor they are able to contribute to anybody else's. So they get stuck. That is how people get stuck, right? They are not moving anywhere. So if I keep silent, then it is okay within a small team, right? Suppose I want many people to know this vision, then everybody needs to talk in my team as well as beyond the team. So what happened? Um, some time back, I was working in a very remote area called Bandhavgarh in Madhya Pradesh. Bandhavgarh is famous for a tiger reserve, and the people are mostly very backward and also illiterate. So few of my team members who I had recruited because nobody else was ready to come to such a remote place. So these people were identified by me and trained by me, and they had some experience of whatever I was talking, because they had some exposure also, and that is how we started. So then slowly they formed small groups in the adjacent areas wherever we were working, and these people also needed to know what we were intending to do. So it was basically working on their livelihoods. So there were few options that they could do, they could adopt, and they knew. And we were trying to tell them. And because the outside world, most of the people, they don't understand not speaking. They understand people who would communicate. So communication is a natural expectation from everybody, right? So one needs to communicate. Even if you have a bigger goal and if you are not speaking, then actually you are not doing anything good for anybody, including yourself. So that is when I started speaking out, giving people small trainings. And a very important part of my training has been to speak. So that is how I started. That is how I started. And the core, the core, what did I train these people? I just gave them one vision which resonated with their own personal vision. I just found out that uniqueness in them as to how they think, how they perceive the world to be. And that is how I went through. So one of my worker is a CEO of that particular area where there is a farmer producer organization, though it is a very small company still. He became the CEO because he was in charge of that area, as well as he understood the business. And these FPOs are making. FPO means it is a farmer producers company. Whatever the farmers produce, it has to be aggregated and sold collectively to a buyer so that they can negotiate on the price. Similarly, when they are buying the inputs, the fertilizers and the seeds, because it is a aggregated volume, then they can demand uh, some say subsidy on the price or the reduction of price. So that is how it works. So he did well. His goal was to become a politician. By be by a politician. Why he wanted to be a politician? He understood that a politician is one who actually influences a lot in the area and who makes money by influencing people. And a lot of money comes to his account because of being a politician. And that is how he can grow. He could grow. That is what his thought was. So what I did was, I asked him to reach out to many farmers and tell them about this vision of the farmer producer organization and how they will combinedly can make money. Not make money, actually they will reduce their cost of operation. And also they will charge more money. So that was very appealing for the farmers, and they came together, and in the process he actually mobilized about 40,000 farmers. So that was a good number, right, to be influential. And over a period of say last 8 years, he could influence all these people. He's the CEO and the entire board actually. Um, he reports to the board, of course, but the board is very dependent on him to for the ground level thing. He does the training part of these people, these farmers. He is an intermediary between the government, the district office, or the district level departments, and the farmers. So that is how he has been able to bring in lot of facilities to that area. In the process, he has also become a leader. And the latest thing about him is he has bought a car. And because there is snow not many opportunities when he can ride a car, so he is using it for um, giving on rent to people who want to travel. So it is kind of a travel agency. So he is using his car for that, giving on rent. That is how he has grown from being an ordinary worker in the field who was earning less than 6,000 or so, to a person who now transacts about more than 50,000 a month. So that is his growth. So it took me just that, right? I just identified his own aptitude and connected it with a bigger goal. Similarly, with the ladies of that area, they saw me coming from a city, and I was very much like them. The only thing was that I was educated. What I was able to do was to communicate with anybody and everybody in the area. That is what they have seen. So they thought, even if they cannot read and write another now at this moment in their life, they could still go on and meet other people and put their ideas across. That is what they did. And that is how, because they could speak out and communicate, they became the members of the district governing board. It was as simple as that. And they started learning because I knew how they think about their livelihoods. And so I just brainstormed amongst themselves, and uh, I asked them to communicate their own ideas about their own livelihoods and how they will prosper. It was not always the way we think, but it is the way they think and they could communicate. For the weeds in that area, we normally there was an advice to use weedicide, right? But they didn't take that idea. They didn't buy that idea because the weedicide will eliminate all the grass or and the animal feed, the grass and leaves and everything. What will the animal then eat? That is what they ask. So it was very practical to their lifestyle, and they adopted the organic agriculture method, and with that they actually broken in mustard production. They had broken the state record at that time, and that is their achievement. The record was not important, but the leap that they took as a result of knowing who they are, how they can impact the local economy as well as the prosperity of their own household. It required a discussion, conversation at that level, right? In the group level, in a small group level. It's like that. So they had taken that leap, and at one point of time, they had formulated a federation in which they had a corpus of 36 lakhs rupees within a span of 4 years. Various support had come, of course, but it was as a result of their taking loans and paying it back with an interest. That is how they had generated that corpus. So that knowledge also had come to them, because certain things were explained to them in their language at that level. Coming back to the corporate uh, learning, in my job when I was heading the HR of this company where I was working, I had a I had few people who were working with me who came with a very uh, very nominal background, right? They were graduates simply. So when I tried to educate them, if they wanted to mm, be promoted from that level to the managerial level, it was a journey of all the experiences, of course, plus uh, they needed to be qualified as BS or some kind of education beyond that graduation, just a graduation level degree. So one of them actually took that advice and she grew into um, she educated herself. She invested in her education and she now is the assistant manager level from a simple executive. Executive is the entry level point in that company. And in terms of confidence building, there were lot many friends who were of my batch, my general, and they could learn from my viewpoint, my outlook of life. They stopped some practices and started thinking in that particular way of knowing their own strength. What is their idea of life? That is how they started, and uh, they took the next step based on those understanding, right? That is how they cleared their why, and also they have succeeded. So what I have observed is when a person knows about the why and the strength with which the person is born, then it helps a lot. It helps a lot in getting ahead in whatever form of life. It is not only at the career space. It is in the personal space as well. So whenever one has a problem, it is it is very simple to fall back upon those values and think from that perspective and get ahead in life in that. So think in this line and refer to the exercise that is given in this segment, and yes, let us meet. And I would like you to come back to the next session with some exercises given here and why you did what you did, right? Thank you.